I'm used to. Fuck. I'm just gonna move that back. Alright. I think we're all set up now. So like I said, we were gonna do something different for this live stream. Let me see how it looks with oh, but it can't see my face. Good thing I have lighting, because well then it would suck. Okay. So what was I gonna say? Alright, so what's going on, you guys? Welcome to the stream. Because one, I did say that we were gonna do things different this stream. Instead of you guys seeing me play a game, we're gonna talk about a subject that I wanted to talk about for a while, and obviously from the title of this that you're seeing is that we're gonna talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, hold on a minute. You can still see my face. That's beautiful. There we go. I think. Yeah. Okay. So basically, let's talk about Five Nights at Freddy's for a minute. Okay, so Five Nights at Freddy's. If you guys don't know what Five Nights at Freddy's is, Five Nights at Freddy's is an indie horror. Yuck me. I'm not gonna edit this. I'm just gonna give the raw footage on my channel. Okay, so you can tell I'm having a lot of fun, but I'm going to in a minute. Okay, so if you guys don't know what Five Nights at Freddy's is, Five Nights at Freddy's is this indie horror series where you play as this night guard that's trying to keep animatronic creatures out of your room that will kill you because they will stuff you in a suit. Now, for the first Five Nights at Freddy's, how it works is that you play as a guy named Mike Schmidt, and Mike Schmidt is there for about I believe 7 nights until he finally gets a pink slip and gets fired from his job because he was tampering with the animatronic characters. Now, because the most difficult mode on that game being 420 mode, because Mike Schmidt, I guess he thought, oh hey, this isn't hard enough, so why not upgrade them so that they come at me harder, which was stupid, first of all. Then in the second game, you're playing as a guy named Jeremy Fitzgerald, and that specific place takes place back in 1987. The first Five Nights at Freddy's doesn't really have a confirmed date. It's just 19, because on the check it's just 19XX. It doesn't have a confirmed date. But you're playing as a guy named Jeremy Fitzgerald at supposedly the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Now, Jeremy Fitzgerald has the same job as Mike Schmidt, just that he can't close doors. He must wear a mask to protect himself. Thus, having all the new characters attack him, and then all the old characters attacking him, and that damn music box that you have to keep wound throughout the whole night. Then in the third Five Nights at Freddy's game, we don't really know who was basically the night guard there, because there was no specific name given. You hear that? Given. To basically tell us that, what a character's name is, and, basically, just what our character's name is, because that's the main thing there. Because in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, you have to basically, keep a certain animatronic away from you while all the ghosts, I guess you could say, of the other animatronics are attacking you, but they're scaring you and not killing you like the other one will. Now, in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, you're playing as a child, and there's like the certain nightmare animatronic characters of the ones that were in the first game. Um, and you have to try keeping your doors closed and keeping the closet closed so Foxy doesn't murder you, and checking your bed so that all the Freddles doesn't kill you. Because Freddy will appear out of nowhere like, hey, I'm a magician. I'm about to wreck your shit. Okay. So the next thing being the next game in the series being, which was the recent new one, I guess you could say recent new one, sort of old, not really, was Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location. Now, Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location takes place in a new place, and the name of your character in Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location is William Afton. William Afton goes down into an underground pizzeria, I guess you can say, and basically, Scott, fucking, you have to roam around the whole place, you know, and do certain tasks every night. Now if you guys do not know the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, his name is Scott Cawthon. Amazing. By the way, Scott, love your games. Literally, I love them. I've been paying attention to the Five Nights at Freddy's lore for like the longest time. Like ever since like the first game came, I've been paying attention to the game, and like, you know, like the lore is just amazing. So keep what you're doing, Scott. Now the main part, since all the explaining is now out the way of what you do in every single game. Basically, here's what like the order of the timelines of Five Nights at Freddy's would go in. Okay, so the first game of the series would be, I believe, it would probably be, it would be Sister Location. The reason that Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location would be the first Five Nights at Freddy's game is because Purple Guy has not been yet, something, I'll explain it later, but something did not happen to Purple Guy just yet. And that made his skin all go purple and stuff. The next game of the series being Five Nights at Freddy's 4, which is what took place in 1983. Keep in mind that there was a bite. There's a certain thing that the phone guy mentioned in the first game, that there was a bite of 87. But there was a bite in that timeline, but it wasn't the bite of 87. It was technically the bite of 83 that caused by Fredbear because of the younger brother's douchey older brother, that him and his friends wearing the character's mask from the first game put him inside the mouth of Fredbear, and Fredbear, I guess, because, you know, like there was something in the way or whatever, like he couldn't close his mouth, so he finally closed his mouth, basically crushing the kid's head inside of his mouth, and then, because they were laughing as if he was in his mouth, and the kid did not want to go there. He was absolutely terrified of these animatronics because he always had nightmares of them every single day and every single night, from 12 a.m. in the morning to 6 a.m. He would always have these nightmares. Like, he would have nightmares of the characters' names from the first game, which I will say now. He would always have nightmares of Freddy. He will always have nightmares of Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and the Fredbear himself. And he even had like this weird nightmare of a darker version of Fredbear, which is called Nightmare, which was like pretty much like the true trick in his mind. Now, if you notice that the kid never had a nightmare version of Spring Bonnie, because I guess, like, he must have not liked the animatronic characters, and he probably especially never liked Fredbear, but he must have had some sort of little love for Spring Bonnie, thus him not having any nightmares of Spring Bonnie, yeah. Which makes a lot of sense in the matter of why there was never, I'm gonna move back, of why there was never a Nightmare Spring Bonnie in any of the games. or just in Five Nights at Freddy's 4 in general. Now, the next game to come in the timeline is Five Nights at Freddy's 2, when you meet the toy animatronics, which is Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, Toy... No, not Toy, but, well, it would be Toy Foxy, but it's really the Mangle, and Balloon Boy and the Marionette. Those are the six new animatronics that are in Five Nights at Freddy's. That were in I guess you could say, the third location of the game. Now, supposedly, that there was a that's the year that the bite of '87 occurred in. But here's the question: like, who did the bite? Who did the bite of the true bite of '87? Because back in 1983, like I said, there was a bite, but that was the bite of '83 because of Fredbear. But who actually did the bite of '87 in the third location in Five Nights at Freddy's 2? Who did the bite is the question. Because we know for a fact that it's not the withered versions of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, the withered original versions of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy. We know, and I believe Golden Freddy. We know it's not them because, like, they wouldn't be out and around. They're stored away in the parts and services room. It can't be them. It wouldn't be them. Like, Foxy is always away in the parts and service room because a lot of people thought in the first game that Foxy caused the bite of '87, but in the second game there was a lot of evidence that proved against that because it took place in the past, and Foxy was stored away, so there was no way that Foxy could have ever done the bite of '87. So the thing is that one of the toy animatronics caused the bite of '87, because it wasn't the Marionette, I'll tell you that, and it definitely wasn't Balloon Boy, because the Marionette can't close his mouth and Balloon Boy can't close his mouth either. So the speculations is that it's one of the toy animatronics. It's either Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, or Mangle. I almost said Toy Foxy again. Shows you how much I know about the game and the lore. So it was definitely one of the toy animatronics that did it, unless there was a separate pizzeria before that the bite occurred in. Because you could tell that the withered versions of the animatronics are different models than they are now, so that because the next game of the series is Five Nights at Freddy's 1, because as you can tell they're different models from what they were in the previous pizzeria back in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So maybe that there was another pizzeria just before that restaurant had opened with the original characters and their new models and how they looked. Maybe there was a restaurant before that the bite of '87 occurred in. Maybe that's what happened, and then they had to shut it down and then move them to this new location, but had to strip them for parts in order to make the toy versions of them. That would make a lot of sense, though. Trust me. But the next game of the series being Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Now, in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, though, you guys know that there's most likely 5 animatronics in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Well, that's actually wrong, because there's Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Golden Freddy, okay, and one more. There's one more in that restaurant stowed away in the secret room that's in every location, and there was a back room. In that location that the Spring Bonnie animatronic suit was there. So basically there's 6 animatronics in one place, thus Spring Bonnie never showing up in that place. I'm also gonna knock down the chat, not the thing that I have on my side. It's crazy to think that you had 5 animatronics to deal with, but only but only, right, yeah, 5 animatronics to deal with, but only, I mean, 6 animatronics that are in the restaurant, but only 5 of them to deal with, which is insanity, first of all. Then next in the series, and the final game in the series being 5. What? Okay, interruption. Um, okay, but when I get the raw version of this video, I'm not gonna edit this out. But the last game in the series coming in order is Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 being the final game in the series. Or the final game in the timeline of things, because keep in mind, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 took place 30 years after the first Five Nights at Freddy's. So, or yeah, after the first Five Nights at Freddy's game, it took place 30 years after. 30. Which is crazy, because it's 30 years after the last Five Nights at Freddy's, after the last restaurant that was open. So I guess that the Fazbear Entertainment, well, not I guess, but the Fazbear Entertainment Company decided to do something different. Excuse me. They decided to do something different. They wanted to do a horror attraction. And they finally brought Spring Bonnie to that horror attraction, because they had a bunch of props and stuff everywhere, like the Marionette's mask, its box, the gifts in the room, a Foxy head, a Bonnie head with its suit, a Freddy head with its suit outside left of your office, you know, like on a podium thing, you know, and like there was like just everywhere, you know. The only things that bother you, the main thing that can kill you there was Spring Bonnie, but the animatronics, or the ghost versions, like you could say, of the animatronics that I mentioned earlier, being Phantom Freddy, Phantom Bonnie, no, there was no Phantom Bonnie, Phantom Freddy, Phantom Chica, Phantom Foxy, Phantom Marionette, and Phantom Balloon Boy. That was it. That's all the Phantom animatronics that you have to deal with, and mind you, they are a pain to deal with, a big royal pain in your behind to deal with, because not only do you have to make sure that the Phantom animatronics don't scare you and take down your ventilation, that what's it called? That you have to also keep Springtrap away from you using auditory. Springtrap. Okay. Well, his name in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is Springtrap, and you have to try keeping Springtrap away from you. Okay, with using auditory, with using Balloon Boy Hello, that's built in on the auditory to lead him around the building, but you want to keep him going backwards instead of towards you. You want to keep him going away from you and shutting appropriate vents that he goes in. The interesting thing about Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is that Springtrap never appeared in the first night. Like, the game, like, it was weird because Scott Cawthon let you get used to everything in the office and let you mess around without having to deal with phantoms or Springtrap, without having to deal with anything of that. Like, that's the only Five Nights at Freddy's game that lets you get adjusted to the scenario that's gonna unfold in the next night, which is weird because we've never seen that in a Five Nights at Freddy's game. Because on the first night of the first one, Bonnie comes after you, and then Chica later in the night. Second one, the toy animatronics come after you, except Mangle and Balloon Boy. But the music box you always have to keep wound, no matter what night. In the fourth game, you never got used to it. Bonnie and Chica would come after you, and the Freddles on your bed, which is a problem. And in Sister Location, you didn't really get used to anything. Like, you just got thrown into there and you just had to move around and maneuver everywhere. That was, that's what you got to do. But in the third one, he lets you get used to what is about to come and like use the things that are in your office, you know, without having to worry about an animatronic or a phantom bothering you and screwing you up, which is which was interesting because you had because yeah, it was interesting because in this game you had to keep track of not only the cameras and keeping Springtrap away from you, but your devices, your camera system, your ventilation, and auditory devices. Because you have to reboot them whenever they fail. Now, which is interesting, which is a little interesting, which is not bad, but the thing being is that the ending cutscene in Five Nights at Freddy's, the fifth night ending cutscene, is that you see a man in purple get into this Springtrap suit in the first Five Nights at Freddy's layout, which explains what I said before of there being 6 animatronics in that one place. But a man in a purple suit, not purple suit, a man that's purple, straight up purple skin and everything, but like white eyes, you know, that the souls of 5 children, that he murdered, 5 children that he murdered, started coming after him. You know, one of them started coming after him, and he was nervous. He didn't know what to do, so his last resort was to go into the Spring Bonnie suit, aka Springtrap. Spring Bonnie suit. Later, he eventually stood up and started laughing at him, but then he died within the suit. The reason that it's called a spring, that his name is Springtrap in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 was because when the spring lock, because the reason he died in the suit was because that there was spring locks in the suit. There were spring locks in the suit, and one of the phone calls in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 was that you're not supposed to breathe on the spring locks, otherwise you will die within the suit. You're not supposed to touch them or do anything to them or breathe on them. If you do, you die. And his laughing caused him to breathe on the spring locks, thus spring lock failure happening and the suit basically crushing him from the inside. You know? All that happening in one go. And the souls finally left, you know, because they were thinking, because they I guess they achieved what they set out to do, which was make the purple guy suffer for what he did to them. And I guess that he's still alive in the suit because his soul is still like infused in the suit, because they wanted him to make him suffer and see and make him face what they had endured for years and years, to make him basically the animatronic within. And he was stuck like that for years. He actually is still stuck like that because of sister location. He's still in the Springlock suit, and he's alive still. Because eventually, after beating the nightmare mode in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, you get a secret little paper thing saying that it burns, being that the Fazbear's Fright burns to the ground because the protagonist of the game, which I guess you could say is Springtrap, lit it on fire, you know, thus causing it, because they thought he lit it on fire, but they thought it was because of faulty wiring, you know. That's what they thought it was, because of faulty wiring, which is not true at all. It wasn't faulty wiring whatsoever. It was him lighting the place ablaze, basically. That's why it burned to the ground because Springtrap lit it up, basically. Now, now, uh, now, um, because now here's the thing though, is that in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, 3, Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, you're playing as a guy named William Afton. Now, in the Five Nights at Freddy's book, Silver Eyes, the purple guy's name is William Afton, which is supposedly the guy who died in the Springlock suit, right? I'll get to explaining that in a little bit. Because so basically in the whole Five Nights at Freddy's sister location game, you're playing as the purple guy. You're William Afton. The whole game you're playing as the purple guy before he turned into purple guy. I say that for good reason, because in the true ending of Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, the purple guy, there was a scooper, and Circus Baby had warned you about the scooper, you know, and how basically, like, they scoop out the endoskeletons, basically, of the animatronics that were there, such as Circus Baby herself, Bitty Babs, Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, yes, and Ballora, basically. She explained all of that to you, but the true ending in Five Nights at Freddy's sister location being that, you get led into the back, into the scooping room, and eventually you see a specific animatronic in the window, his name being entered. His name being entered. Because, well, it's kind of funny why he's called that, because it's pretty much like the reason that they scooped you was to get your innards out so that they can go inside of you, which would make sense of why Ennard is called Ennard, Mind you, Ennard being Ennard. Which is weird how you spell his name, first of all. But yeah, so what happened basically was that you got your whole thing, like, because you stepped in the room, basically, right? And that was weird. I heard police sirens. And basically, you got scooped. You got scooped like one of them, but it didn't take like it didn't take like 2 or 3 tries like it did in Ballora on the 4th night of sister location. It didn't take that long. You basically got scooped once and then you died. As simple as that. As simple as that. And then, but the animatronics that were there, like they were suffering for such a long time, and they just wanted to leave. They wanted to get out. They just wanted to leave the place and not return back. They just wanted to leave. So the answer to their problem was scooping out somebody's innards and then entering it themselves. That's what their plan was, basically. That's exactly what their plan was. And they successfully executed and did the plan by manipulating William Afton and leading him to various rooms, thus having him scooped out and them entering his body, and you could tell that you were playing as William Afton, because then in one of the cutscenes, the eyes are closed, and then when he opens them, you could see that his eyes are like blue. Yeah, I think either blue or purple, right? And basically, I guess that means, because I didn't pay attention to what Ennard's eye color is, but if it's blue, that means Ennard has taken control of William Afton himself, and yeah, pretty much he took control of William Afton, and once they scooped out and went inside William Afton, all of them being inside William Afton, they eventually proceeded and left the building after William Afton's shift was over. They left the building, up the elevator and everything. Nobody suspected a thing. Even in William Afton's home, nobody suspected a thing of that he had animatronics inside of him. Nobody knew that about him. The thing is that the Custom Night DLC was released, a free DLC was released for Sister Location, and once you beat one of the Custom Nights on very hard mode, you get these little 8-bit minigame sections, you know? And you can see that you're playing, that the 8-bit figure is William Afton himself, walking across the street, smiling and all happy and stuff, you know, and everybody waving to him and being, and, you know, they're all happy, you know, because basically, I guess you could say that before William Afton's innards got scooped out of him, that he used to be a really nice guy. Also, if you hear that, it's Rubber Ducky. Damn it. There we go. But yeah, that William Afton, but it basically shows that before, like, you know, like, oh, like, before William Afton got scooped, like, innards got scooped out of him, he was a really nice guy. Like, everybody loved him. Like, the whole neighborhood loved William Afton, you know, because he seemed like a nice guy, and he was a really, really nice guy in the neighborhood. Later in the cutscenes, though, after beating 3 of them, you see that, because his eye color stays blue or purple, whatever color it is, for 2 cutscenes. After you beat the 3rd one on very hard mode, which is any of them, after you beat the 3rd one, you notice that William Afton's eyes are now darkened and pretty much like black now. But nobody suspected a thing. Nobody noticed that. They just all were happy and kept waving like hi to him. Nobody knew that William Afton, like, something happened to William Afton until the next very hard minigame, until the 4th very hard minigame is beaten. Something else is shown, that William Afton's skin complexion is changing just a bit. As he's walking down the street, everybody is waving hi to him, except one person notices that something is not right. Something is different about William Afton, but somehow he seems okay, you know? But he notices that something has definitely changed William Afton. Like, he's not looking the way he should. And then, after beating 5 very hard nights, you notice that William Afton's skin complexion changes again, but like I guess you could say, like, it gets like lighter, you know, it gets lighter colored. And nobody pretty much is fooled by that. Like, everybody sees that his skin color has changed, that his eye color is now black and dark. Everybody sees that about William Afton. Everybody sees it. You know, as he's walking down the street, everybody's just looking at him, you know, like, what is wrong with him? You know, what happened to him? Pretty much, like, why is his skin color different? You know? Until the next very hard night is beaten, his skin complexion changes completely, and he starts changing, and his formality of himself starts changing a lot more. And everybody notices it and starts hiding behind the houses. One of them like, a couple of them are on the streets, and then you see, like, at the second house, that one of them is hiding behind the houses because he knows that something is wrong and something is not correct with William Afton. He knows that. And then, after beating an 8th very hard very hard custom night, William Afton has completely changed. Like, his whole skin complexion is purple. His eyes are black, but like with white like like pure white pupils, and he only has pants on, no shoes, no shirt whatsoever, and he's walking down the street like this, basically, like there's nothing hanging out, and just walking down the street, and nobody was outside. Only two people were hiding behind their houses because they noticed that William Afton has changed. Like there is something different. That they knew something was absolutely wrong. That William Afton should not have looked the way that he looked. There was no way that he had to look like as pure, a pure purple skin complexion. There was no way that he should look like that. There was no way that he should have pure white pupils. There was no possible way that William Afton himself has to look like that. There was no way. Until um until he walked to about where the sewer thing is on the street, on the street, right? And he basically, what happened was that William is that his chest was all messing up and his mouth was wide open in the air. You know, his chest was all like messing around, and then and then uh and then he just shoots like all of the fun time, like everybody like that was in the underground pizzeria, like out of him into the sewer, and he just falls to the ground. Like he just falls instantaneously. You know, he just falls to the ground instantaneously, and entered, and then you just hear Circus Baby's voice in the distance saying that you won't die. That purple guy himself would not die. You know, um, until he finally stood up, and basically he was an empty hollow shell inside of him. There's nothing inside a purple guy's body anymore. Um, because Circus Baby basically said that you won't die. You won't die. You know? And so he arose, and his whole like attitude towards things was changed. Like he was changed as a person. He was 100% changed. Until now, he was 100% changed because the reason that entered and the others probably ejected out of Purple Guy is because it's probably because Ennard figured out like, oh, this isn't working anymore. You know, like this isn't going as how we thought it would go. So Ennard, so so basically, what's it called? Then Five Nights at Freddy's 4 takes place because Purple Guy got a job as the manager, basically, of Fredbear's Family Diner, which was the second restaurant in the series. So he got a job as a manager at Fredbear's Family Diner, and you could tell in one of the mini games playing as the kid that if you walk this way towards the stage and then you go back, you can see Purple Guy helping an employee out with it, putting on his mask. You could see that. You could see it clear as day. Which is strange because, well, which is not strange at all because he's just helping him out. Because Purple Guy was basically looking for his daughter in there. He was looking for his daughter, and he couldn't find her whatsoever because Circus Baby took William Afton's daughter away from her after William Afton specifically told her never to go near Circus Baby until one day she slipped away from William Afton, and then she walked right up to Circus Baby herself. Circus Baby then popping out some ice cream because she could do that. She has a built-in helium tank. She can sing, she can dance, she can even make ice cream. That's how advanced these robots kind of were. Because I guess that was Finance Space. Fred Fazbear's Entertainment's really high point because they must have had a lot of money to put a lot of upgrades in all these animatronic suits. they must have had a lot of money to do that. Now, now, um, now she went up to Circus Baby, and Circus Baby dropped some ice cream for her, you know? And she went to go, like, she's back here, like, let's say that she's back here, right? And Circus Baby, yeah, let's say she's way back here and Circus Baby is right there. Like, she walks up to her, you know? Like, she walks up to Circus Baby to get the ice cream, and then Circus Baby having some kind of claw come out of her, grabbing her and pulling her inside of Circus Baby. And then she obviously died because of that. Because Circus Baby mentioned something interesting though, that she would always count the amount of children that were in each room, like two, like in her room, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 4, 2, 1, and then there were none. She would always count how many kids were in that room, because she said herself that she was on stage one time, and it was the only time that she was on stage. And I think the one time that she was on stage, right? That the one time that she was on stage, like the only time that she was on stage, and that William Afton's daughter came up to her, and then, grabbed her, pulled her inside, and then Circus Baby grabbed her, pulling inside of her, killing her basically, was her first and last time doing that, because the company decided, okay, we're just gonna move them to like an underground restaurant, and all this other stuff. But the question being, where does Ennard come from? Like, okay, yeah, because my suspicions of Ennard is that he was originally gonna be like a human clown version, like an animatronic clown version, because that's what he was gonna be, right? That's what Ennard was gonna be, because he had the mask and everything for it, and his endoskeleton was already built for it, and he had his mask and everything. But what probably happened was that Ennard eventually got, he got decommissioned, basically. Like, they eventually scrapped the whole idea of making Ennard, and decided to, because maybe he required like a lot of parts and all this other stuff, and like all this, and maybe they just didn't have enough money in their budget in order to do that. So maybe, so maybe they just didn't have the money, like didn't have the amount of money they needed to do their idea of Ennard. They probably didn't have what they wanted, because they had an idea, but they eventually scrapped the idea and decided to go, I guess, for cheaper. Excuse me, when I don't know why I said like that, like cheaper. But they eventually decided to go for cheaper animatronic characters that they could make, which, I don't know what's up with me in the burps today, which eventually ended up being Funtime Circus Baby. Well, no, Circus Baby was already there, but which eventually ended up being Funtime Foxy, Funtime Freddy, and Ballora coming and being made, because Circus Baby was already made before. Circus Baby was already made, so pretty much all that happened with Circus Baby is that she was moved to that location. She was moved there, is what pretty much happened. I'm gonna try this light again. No, you guys can't see my face. It's so bad. Hold on. Peekaboo. peekaboo, rave party. Okay. eh, you know, like all this stuff happened because very much the Funtime animatronics and Ballora had to be made, and Circus Baby was just moved there because they probably eventually scrapped the idea of Ennard because it was too much money or out of their budget range, and then they finally decided to go for something cheaper and easier to do, such as three Funtime animatronics. Because they were probably gonna equip Ennard with a bunch of stuff and like a bunch of things, you know, but they just didn't have the money for it, so they equipped it. So so they can go a little cheaper and equip three animatronics, with different things. I've been stuck on this subject for a while, haven't I? Yeah. But anyway, so you can see Five Nights at Freddy's 4 that purple guy was helping somebody put on a Spring Bonnie suit because I guess he was gonna walk around or whatever, you know, like, hey kids, you know, like, it's me, Spring Bonnie. Hold on, what? Okay. I don't know, I got a little slower. I had to wave my hands for a minute. You know, like that thing. Like, he had to help the employee out. But then I guess he had gotten a son, you know? He had gotten two sons, actually. I say two sons for a reason. He had gotten two sons. The youngest one being the kid that you played as in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, which is the kid, which we don't know the kid's name. We don't know his name whatsoever. We really don't. But the kid being that you play as in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, that was Michael Afton. William Afton's son. That was William Afton's son, and the older brother being William Afton's oldest son. Because I guess after the years, after a couple years after Circus Baby's Pizzeria, that he eventually got two sons, you know? Now, basically, happening is that purple guy, just making sure this camera is still focused, moving smoothly, is that purple guy actually, you know, hello, Linda Smith. Oh, hi, Linda Smith. How are you? What was I saying? Oh, yeah. But eventually, purple guy, you know, causing something, you know, because eventually he witnessed the death of his own son in front of his eyes, thus causing him. Hey, I hear you. I hear you. I prefer not to say right now. I prefer not to say right now. But yeah, purple guy, eventually dying, or not dying, but seeing the death of his own youngest son. And that kind of set him off over the edge. I mean, I might reveal it in a later video of where I actually live, so maybe you want to stay tuned for that. But yeah, purple guy eventually, you know, didn't like his oldest son for doing that to his youngest, which really set him over the edge. And I guess in order to fill the void within him, you know, okay, that he had to like kill like 5 children, but I guess that wasn't really enough for him. Again, like I said, the reason being is that I don't really want to reveal it right now. I'll do it in a later video, you know? But yeah, like he had to fill the void, and that wasn't working. Why? Why you're not saying on here? Um, because well, I don't really want to do it just yet. Um, I want to do it when I'm, hold on. Okay, when I'm ready, to actually say where I live and stuff, That's kind of one reason. Um, Basically to fill the void of children. Now, here's the catchy part is that William Afton, like the kids that he killed and he saw the basically the kids thought that William Afton was 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 the purple guy. He thought he was the purple guy, you know, because of what he did to his brother. That's why. They thought he was the purple guy. For all they cared, you know? Um okay, so I'm gonna take a short break. I'm gonna be back in like a minute. Uh so yeah, stay tuned. Alright, and we're back. Okay, let me turn on the lamp. Alright, so why am I not saying it on here? Because, well, like I said, I mean, like, I've I want to, but I kind of don't want to right now, you know? Okay. But basically, Purple Guy, like, one of the main reasons why he was murdering those children was because, like, he wanted to fill the void, you know, of his sorrow and sadness, but it was never enough for him. It was never enough. You know, like, it was never enough. Like, he always had to keep killing and keep doing this in order for him to keep filling the void. It was the only thing that he could have done to, like, basically make himself feel like, I guess you could say, happy, you know? But the crying children, they saw William Afton's older brother as him, the Purple Guy himself. He saw them as that. That's what they saw him as. So, if you notice at the end of the sister location cutscene, that he says father. That he says father. Oh God. Oh. Hold on. My Xbox is still on. Okay. But yeah, they saw, yeah, because he said in the cutscene, like, oh, father, they thought I was you. They thought I was you, basically. She was right where you told me she was. I put her back together. But something is not right with me, father. They saw me as you, you know? And this is kind of word for word of what this guy is saying. Because he said, it's me, Michael. That's what he said. That it's me, Michael. They saw me as you. Like, I should be dead, but I'm not. And then now there's only one thing left for me to do. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you. That's what he said. Word for word. That's what he said. So, basically, he said his name was Michael. You know? He should be dead, but he's not. And they thought I was you. So basically, that William Afton never made a return to the Five Nights at Freddy's one restaurant. He never made a return there. That's what never happened. He never made a return to that restaurant. He came, basically, the person that was there was Michael. Michael was there. So, in other words, that's the older brother. Michael Afton is the name of the older brother. And what happened was that they saw me as you. In other words, the crying children that were in that room saw Michael Afton, saw Michael Afton as William Afton, the real, true purple guy. That's what they saw him as. So, here's the catchy part. Here's the fun part. That might send you for a loop if it hasn't already. That Michael Afton is William Afton's oldest brother that Michael Afton put his little brother into the mouth of Fred Bear, causing the bite of 83. That's a little loop. That's crazy, right? You know, they thought I was you. Basically, what it means, and here's the loop, is that Michael Afton is the one that's in the spring trap suit, or the spring Bonnie animatronic suit. Michael Afton was forced to go in that suit from the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 minigame. That was Michael Afton that you were forcing into the spring Bonnie suit. That's who Michael Afton is. That's what happened to Michael Afton. So in other words, the real and true purple guy, William Afton, is still out there somewhere. He's out there. He is out there. Because Michael Afton being in Springtrap, and now, I'm repeating myself, aren't I? And now he's gonna go and find his father, Michael Afton. Yeah, he's gonna go find himself. Oh, that shouldn't be too hard. He's gonna go find his father, William Afton. He's gonna go find him, you know? But if you notice, in that same cutscene, Michael Afton is in Fazbear's Fright, which tells you that the purple guy never died in the spring trap suit, which is more clue to that. So basically, Michael Afton is the protagonist to lighting the place on fire. He was the protagonist of doing that. I'm just gonna kind of hold on. Scrolling chat. Okay. But yeah, Linda Smith, if you're still watching this, I'm sorry. You know, I'll reveal it maybe in a later video. Or maybe my live stream tomorrow. Because I'm going to see if I can't live stream where I'm going. So if I can live stream where I'm going, I'm taking you guys with me. As simple as that. But a little bit off topic here. But that was a little bit off topic. Anyway, Michael Afton is in the Springtrap suit. So Michael Afton is going to go find his father. Now keep in mind that there were 5 children murdered, but there are 6 souls of the children. There are 6 of them because of the one back in 1983. Now they go as followed, right? 1983 kid is Marionette, and then the other 5 are Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy. That's who they are. Okay? That's who they reveal. That's what they are, or what they were. But if you notice that in the back room, when they forced Michael Afton into the Springtrap suit, or the spring Bonnie suit, that there were only 5 of them there. In other words, the kid, Michael Afton's little brother, back in 1983, like, he's still here. He has not left. He's not gone. He just isn't. He's still here. He is. That's the answer to that. He is still here. So in other words, like maybe when the next Five Nights at Freddy's game comes out, that the little brother's name will get revealed, and then he's gonna go find, and then he's gonna try and find and or follow Michael Afton to their father. You know, that would be interesting to see. That would be really interesting to see. But it depends on what Scott actually does with the next Five Nights at Freddy's game, because we all know that there's going to be another game. There's definitely another game coming out. I'm trying to think about for what else to say about it, because this is called Let's Talk Five Nights at Freddy's. I can't really think of anything else to say about the series. I've pretty much explained like the whole game series and everything about it. Like I've pretty much explained like most of the game series right now. You know, that this whole live stream should show you how much I pay attention to the Five Nights at Freddy's lore. That this should show you how much I pay attention to it. So Scott Cawthon, you know, maybe maybe send early access to the next Five Nights at Freddy's game, huh? 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 No? You sure? Huh? Huh? No? Yeah. Okay. I might have done a gameplay on it. Oh god. It's so weird. You can't see my eyes. Oh god. Maybe I'm the purple guy. Maybe I'm the true one. Maybe I'm the murderer. Okay. I can't think of anything else that I want to talk about for this stream. So if you guys made it to the end of the stream, or you're watching after the stream, thank you guys so much for sticking this long in the stream, or sticking this long in the video once it's uploaded, once I'm done with the stream, and listening to me just talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, thank you. Like, this is one of my favorite game series of all time, you know? And I enjoy the lore and everything. Like, I love the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, it's amazing. It's like I know it kind of like the back of my hand, because I pay attention to it so much. Okay. Because we're about to end the stream here. So, for final words, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this live stream. Or if you're watching this, after I stream, thank you for watching this video of me talking about a really amazing game series. Like, thank you for that. I really, really appreciate it. You know, nothing more than I can say, but hey, thank you guys for watching this stream or video. If you guys want me to do more talk about Five Nights at Freddy's, let me know. Let me know. Just let me know. Really, guys. So, thank you guys so much for watching this, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Because if I can stream tomorrow of where I'm going, I'm gonna stream. End of story. I'm gonna stream. But anyway, so I will see you guys next time. Peace.